Hello, my name is Sarah Helm. I work as a speech-language pathologist for Minnesota Connect Aphasia Now, or known as MnCAN. I facilitate 3 to 8 aphasia conversation groups in the Twin Cities. The group of people who are sitting with me today all have aphasia and participate in one of the Burnsville aphasia conversation groups. So, what is aphasia? Aphasia is a language disorder most commonly caused by strokes, but can also be caused by a brain tumor, head injury, infection, neurologic condition, and a condition known as primary progressive aphasia. People with aphasia may have difficulty speaking and using words, understanding others' words, reading, writing, using, and understanding numbers. Aphasia is often misunderstood to be an intellectual disorder, which it is not. Aphasia affects an estimated 1 million people in the United States, and more than 200,000 acquire each year. Again, this table is surrounded by a group of people with aphasia that attend a weekly aphasia conversation group. At these groups, individuals are provided weekly opportunities to practice communication skills in a small, supportive environment. We are here today to inform you of what it is like to live with aphasia. We will share personal information that will help you to be more aware of this disorder. This group is facilitated on a weekly basis, much like you will see in the informational program. Dick, can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Sure. I'm Richard Mark. Most commonly, everybody calls me Dick. And in my career, I was a clergyman, and a stroke happened to me about 2 years ago. I was 73 at the time, and it's been 2 years of a hard journey for me to begin to operate.
And Lynn, can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
My name is Loomis Jericho. I was employed by Frontier Communications and graduated from law school. I had cancer at 3 years, cancer at 60 years, and had that for about 3 years. I had myself
Surgery?
I had myself with surgery, and that took 36 hours, and I had to take time out. And when I took time out, then I took, I had
Following your surgery, you had?
Following my surgery, I had a stroke, and that's where my aphasia started.
Mm-hmm. Jeff, can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Hi, my name is Jeff. My career was the operation manager of a wholesale distributor. At 56, I had a stroke. That was 2.5 years ago. I was diagnosed with aphasia. I was diagnosed with aphasia.
You got it.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
All right, Bob, tell us about you.
Okay, Bob Olson. I was a dentist for 40 years. I have a stroke for 76 years. A stroke for 2014.
So you were 76 years old when you had your stroke. And that was 1 year ago?
5 years ago, or 4.
1 year ago.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so Lynn, what is it like to communicate after acquiring aphasia?
It's very difficult to speak. I can know what I'm saying, and it's in my voice and in my head what I'm saying, but the person on the other hand can't understand it. And when they do understand it, they did it, no, when they understand it, it's, no, I'm sorry, we understand it, and we understand listening to them by having them listen to us. As long as they listen to us or keep quiet around the forest, we can do what we have to do.
And Dick, what is it like for you to communicate after acquiring aphasia?
Well, I thought when I started after my stroke, I had to stutter a little. But and then I'm a little bit like Lynn. I could think things through and could put my thoughts together, but I couldn't say them. And it was hard on me, for I was a person that liked to do things fast and get them done, and I had to start out being slow.
Bob,
Okay.
what is it like for you to communicate?
TV and reading or radio are okay, but conversations are hard. If it's okay for people are fast or slow, I can understand them. But I can't. I want to do something, but I can't say anything to it.
So it's hard to get the words out. You know what people are saying.
But I can't do anything about it.
It's hard for you to get your words out.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Jeff, can you tell us what it's like to communicate with aphasia?
Is confusing. Aphasia is like having a disconnect between parts of your brain. It takes a lot of effort to talk, spell, write, and read, and do math.
So, Bob, what problems do you encounter with aphasia?
I'm certainly the same person, but I don't know that I have a stroke. People don't know that. They don't know that I have a stroke. When I have people that have, if people have a long time for me, I don't know what to say for them. I can't trade it, and it's the end of the conversations.
Right, so you're still the same person, just can't get the words out, and then that's the end of your conversation.
That's it. Okay.
Lynn, how about you? What problems do you encounter with aphasia?
I follow the same things that he does. My brain is the same as it was before. I had the same brain that I could talk and think before. The only thing is I can't get the brain to come
Your
out.
mouth.
Yes.
So you can't get the words out.
Yes.
That is exactly what aphasia is. Dick, what problems do you encounter?
Well, I was when I had a stroke, I cried a lot, and that wasn't true to me. That wasn't. I cried a lot because I had one thing that after another go wrong, and it took me about a year to get over that crying all the time. And the second year, I was upset. I was upset from the start of my stroke to the time when my kids would do things, and I would be upset, and I would want to come out and knock their head off. but I decided I better sit down on my upsetness and wait and see what they would do. And eventually, that they kind of forgot about me, and so they forgot that I was upset. And then, thirdly, in my emotions, I'd forget things. I would start out to the kitchen, what was in the kitchen. I'd get out there and I'd forget about what I was going to do. Or I'd go in the bathroom and forget about what I was supposed to do. So I'd have to back up and start off again, and then remember what I was doing.
Mm-hmm.
So.
And Jeff, did you tell us what problems you encountered with your aphasia?
Yeah.
Okay.
While your memory is intact, you see everyone going about their daily routine, and they treat you differently. It can get lonely.
Mm-hmm. So Bob, tell us, what is helpful in your continued road to recovery?
One favorite area, it's good. But at this group, we have a lot of stuff that we do every year or every week. We have 4 or 5 times for saying what they want, and it's nice for all of us to take on a free it nice. I get that we have something that a dub evening that I have, a club evening I have, and that or it's nice for you, and a lot of filming sessions for 4A's that we eat, so that's nice too.
So you keep active.
No, that's right.
You go to therapy, you get practice talking, you go swimming, you keep active.
That's right.
Mm-hmm. So keep going.
That's right.
You're saying keep going, keep active.
That's right.
And that's what's helpful for your continued
Really
road
is,
to
yeah.
recovery.
Thank you.
Jeff,
Yeah.
what is helpful in your continued road to recovery?
Time. You have to allow time enough for the brain damaged tissue to get rewired. It unknown how long it going to take. Every stroke is different, but there is no cure for aphasia.
So you have to keep working at it every day
Yeah.
by reading, writing, speaking, right? Keep
Yep.
at it, right? So Lynn, what is helpful in your continued road to recovery?
I continue to read every day, and when I don't read, I read about what I talk about, and I try to get across everything I've done, so I can go back in my frame and get hold of it. I use the telephone, not the telephone, the computer, and use the computer that has computer games on it, and it keeps me going.
So like brain games?
Like brain games, they're called Lumosity.
Mm-hmm.
And I keep going over that and over that. If I do it every year, every day I can ride the brain games.
So you practice reading every day, and you're always talking,
Yes,
and you also practice writing every day,
yes, I do.
along with your computer and brain games, right? And that is very helpful.
Yes, it is.
And Dick, what is helpful for you in your continued growth?
Well, practice. 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 It's always helpful to practice all the time and try to get things done. Second thing is I write things down. I scribble on the notes and take notes and write things down. I got a calendar that I have to talk about so that I get it all down. And everybody calls me up and says, "Can you do this on a Thursday afternoon?" I said, "Just a minute. I can't remember what happened on Thursday afternoon." And I'll check my calendar and see that I got it all, what I've got to do that day. And thirdly, is get out and see people. Don't be embarrassed about how you talk and what you got to do. And even though you'll make mistakes, get out and practice, get out and talk, get out and do things. I was so scared to talk about getting out, for it wasn't my normal self. And I just put that in my pocket and decided, hey, I'm going to take it, I'm going to try it, and so get out and see people, and I wasn't embarrassed about it.
So when you talk about practice, 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 the things that you see on the table are things that we use, such as resources, to help us communicate each week. We use calendars and maps, picture dictionary, letters, numbers, and they help us practice with our reading, writing, and speaking to get our communication across.
Yeah.
So Jeff, what do people need to know in order to be helpful and supportive?
Aphasia is not to be confused with dementia or Alzheimer's, and those people who have aphasia, you can help by speaking slowly, especially when reciting numbers.
And not only words can be difficult for people with aphasia, but numbers.
Yeah.
Bob,
Okay.
what do people need to know in order to be helpful and supportive for you?
People would be patients for me. It takes a while for anything to do for me, for their patients for me. It's so happy.
So patience is key.
That's right. And they would also say if I'm feeling reading bad, but people would say that I'm breathing. I can't see.
So
Something that say that I'm improving.
improving.
Yeah, that's right.
So people need to give you positive feedback
That's right.
and let you know
That's right.
when you're improving.
That's right. That's good.
We all need positive feedback, right?
Yeah.
Okay. And Dick, what do people need to know in order to be helpful and supportive?
Well, I think they need to to slow down. They have to take time to talk and to talk slowly about themselves. I got in a conversation the other day, and they were repeating everything to me with a bunch of questions on what am I saying. and I find out that I had to say, could you put that down in writing and send it to me? And I immediately, when I saw it was simple. But when they were talking about it, it wasn't simple about it at all. So that's one thing. And another thing is talk to your family, your loved ones. Tell them what you want and what you expect of, because you get a lot of things, a lot of ways.
Mm-hmm. Lynn, what do people need to know in order to be helpful and supportive for you?
People need to know, number one, that I'm still the same as I was before, that I'm allowing people to talk to me and listen to me at the same way. And if they listen to me, they can hear what I have to say. And if it's quiet, I can say it. If it's loud, I can't say it.
You get distracted?
Yes, distracted when someone else starts and I can't finish it, because whatever's out here goes right in here, and I wait.
So keep the background noise down.
Yes.
Right? Avoid distractions
Yes.
by background noise, right? And Jeff, what do people need to be helpful and supportive? We talked about that already.
Yep.
Okay. So who has been most helpful to you with your aphasia?
Well, my wife, Terry, has been been helpful and is extremely supportive.
Mm-hmm. And Dick, who has been most helpful to you with your aphasia?
Well, my peers have been those people I've been with in the setting like this or other setting. They understand you when you miss, when your conversation goes bad, and when you make things go. Then my two sons, their families, Chris and John, they plus the folk in my church that are very supportive. They pick me up and say things that they like about what my speech is, and this I appreciate at times.
And Bob.
Okay. My wife, Julie, is really a lot for me. We've been married for 54 years, and he's almost what I need.
She knows exactly what you need, right?
And it's right. Our players are really great.
Your friends are great.
Yeah.
Yep.
I know that I'm not the same. I know that I am not saved, but I just talk less.
So your friends understand.
Yeah.
They're learning what aphasia is.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Anything else?
No, that's it.
Okay. And Lynn, who has been most helpful to you with aphasia?
George has been most helpful.
So your husband?
Yes, he has been taking me everywhere. He's been listening to me. He's no longer giving me the support that's in place. Instead, he's making me come up with it myself. He'll use a letter or something, or he'll let it go till I get it. And I've learned to expect more now that I've given it.
Mm-hmm. Anyone else who's been helpful?
Well, you guys have.
So the group has been very helpful.
Yes,
Thank you.
yes.
So all of our peers,
Yes.
speech therapists, physical therapists, occupational therapists.
Really good.
Yes,
So many people are very helpful and supportive.
right.
So as you can see, support is very important to help in the road to recovery for every individual with aphasia. So the mission of these groups and MnCAN is to improve the quality of life for individuals living aphasia by supporting increased communication skills, participation in their communities, achievement of personal and communication goals. If you or someone you know has aphasia and would like to be a part of these weekly conversation groups, you may contact MnCAN at the address, phone number, and or website that is provided. I would also like to take this opportunity to thank Burnsville Community Television for allowing this Burnsville Aphasia Conversation Group to inform the public about aphasia and to discuss real-life experiences of living with aphasia. Hello, my name is Sarah Helm. I work as a speech-language pathologist for Minnesota Connect Aphasia Now, or known as MnCAN. I facilitate 3 to 8 aphasia conversation groups in the Twin Cities. The group of people who are sitting with me today all have aphasia and participate in one of the Burnsville aphasia conversation groups. So, what is aphasia? Aphasia is a language disorder most commonly caused by strokes, but can also be caused by brain tumor, head injury, infection, neurologic condition, and a condition known as primary progressive aphasia. People with aphasia may have difficulty speaking and using words, understanding others' words, reading, writing, using, and understanding numbers. Aphasia is often misunderstood to be an intellectual disorder, which it is not. Aphasia affects an estimated 1 million people in the United States, and more than 200,000 acquire each year. Again, this table is surrounded by a group of people with aphasia that attend a weekly aphasia conversation group. At these groups, individuals are provided weekly opportunities to practice communication skills in a small, supportive environment. We are here today to inform you of what it is like to live with aphasia. We will share personal information that will help you to be more aware of this disorder. This group is facilitated on a weekly basis, much like you'll see in the informational program. Can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Sure. I'm Richard Mark. Most commonly, everybody calls me Dick. And in my career, I was a clergyman. And a stroke happened to me about 2 years ago. I was 73 at the time, and it's been 2 years of a hard journey for me to begin to operate.
And Lynn, can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
My name is Loomis Jericho. I was employed by Frontier Communications and graduated from law school. I had cancer at 3 years. Cancer at 60 years and had that for about 3 years. I had myself
Surgery?
I had myself with surgery, and that took 36 hours, and I had to take time out. And when I took time out, then I had surgery.
Following your surgery, you had
Following my surgery, I had a stroke, and that's where my aphasia started.
Jeff, can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Hi, my name is Jeff. My career was the operation manager of a wholesale distributor. At 56, I had a stroke. That was 2.5 years ago. I was diagnosed with aphasia. I was diagnosed with aphasia.
You got it.
Yeah.
Good.
Great, Bob. Tell us about you.
Okay, Bob Olson. I was a dentist for 40 years. I have a stroke for 76 years. Stroke for 2014.
So you're 76 years old when you had your stroke, and that was 1 year ago?
5 years ago.
1 year ago.
Yeah.
Okay, so Lynn, what is it like to communicate after acquiring aphasia?
It's very difficult to speak. I can know what I'm saying, and it's in my voice and my head what I'm saying, but the person on the other hand can't understand it. And when they do understand it, they did it. No, when they understand it, we understand it, and we understand listening to them by having them listen to us. As long as they listen to us or keep quiet around the boards, we can do what we have to do.
And Dick, what is it like for you to communicate after acquiring aphasia?
Well, I thought when I started, after my stroke, I had to stutter. But and then I'm a little bit like Lynn. I could think things through and could put my thoughts together, but I couldn't say them. And it was hard on me, where I was a person that liked to do things fast and get them done, and could start out being slow.
Mm-hmm. Bob?
Okay.
What is it like for you to communicate?
TV and reading are okay, but conversations are hard. If it's okay for fast or slow, I can understand them. But I can't. I want to do something, but I can't say anything to it.
So it's hard to get the words out. You know what people are saying,
But I can't do anything about it.
it's hard for you to get your words out.
Right.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Jeff, can you tell us what it's like to communicate with aphasia?
Is confusing. Aphasia is like having a disconnect between parts of your brain. It takes a lot of effort to talk, spell, write, and read, and do math.
Mm-hmm. So, Bob, what problems do you encounter with aphasia?
I'm sort of the same person, but I don't know that I have a stroke. People don't know that. They don't know that I have a stroke. But when I have people that have, if people have a long time for me, I don't know what the is for them. Mm-hmm. I can't treat it, and that is the end of the conversations.
So you're still the same person, just can't get the words out, and then that's the end of your conversation.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Lynn, how about you? What problems do you encounter with aphasia?
I follow the same things that he does. There's my brain is the same as it was before. I had the same brain that I could talk and think before. The only thing is I can't get the brain to come
Your
out.
mouth.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. So you can't get words out.
Yes.
That is exactly what aphasia is. Dick, what problems do you encounter?
Well, I was when I had a stroke, I cried a lot, and that wasn't true to me. That wasn't. I cried a lot because I had one thing that after another did wrong, and it took me about a year to get over the crying. All of that. And the second year, I was upset. I was upset from the start of my stroke to the time when my kids would do things, and I would be upset, and I would want to come up and knock their head off. But I decided I better sit down on my upsetness and wait and see what they would do. And eventually, they kind of forgot about me, and so they forgot that I was upset. And then, thirdly, emotions. I'd forget things. I would start up to the kitchen, what was in the kitchen. I'd get out there and I'd forget about what I was going to do. Or I'd go to the bathroom and forget about what I was supposed to do. So I'd have to back up and start off again, and then remember what I was doing.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Jeff, did you tell us what problems you encountered with your aphasia?
Yeah, while your memory is intact, you see everyone going about their daily routine, and they treat you differently. It can get lonely.
So Bob, tell us, what is helpful in your continued road to recovery?
One charity is good, but at this we have a lot of stuff that we do every year or every week. We have 4 or 5 times for saying what you want. It's nice for all us to take on free feet. Nice. I guess we have something that a meeting that I have, a company meeting I have, and that it's nice for you. I got a lot of swimming sessions for 4-H that reads. That's nice too.
So you keep active,
That's okay.
you go to therapy, you get practice talking, you go swimming, you keep active.
That's right.
So keep going.
That's right.
You're saying keep going,
That's
keep
right.
active.
That's right.
That's what's helpful for your continued
Yes.
road to recovery.
Thank you.
Jeff,
Yeah.
what is helpful in your continued road to recovery?
Time. You have to allow time enough for the brain damaged tissue to get rewired. It's unknown how long it's going to take. Every stroke is different, but there is no cure for aphasia.
So you have to keep working at it every day
Yeah.
by reading, writing, speaking, right? Keep
Yeah.
at it, right? So Lynn, what is helpful in your continued road to recovery?
I continue to read every day. And when I don't read, I read about what I talk about, and I try to get across everything I've done so I can go back in my frame and get hold of it. Use the telephone, not telephone, it's computer, and use computer that has computer games on it, and it keeps me going.
So like brain games?
I like brain games that are called Lumosity. I keep going over that and over that. If I do it every year, every day I can write the brain games.
So you practice reading every day, and you're always talking.
Yes.
And you also practice writing every day.
Yes, I do.
Along with your computer and brain games, right? And that is very helpful.
Yes, yes.
And Dick, what is helpful for you in your continued
well,
road?
practice. 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 It's always helpful to try all the time and try to get things done. Same thing is write things down. I scribble on the notes and take notes and write things down. I get a calendar that I have to talk about so that I get it all down. And anybody calls me up and says, "Can you do this on a Thursday afternoon?" I said, "Just a minute, I can't remember what I've been on Thursday afternoon." I'll check my calendar and see that I got all what I've got to do that day. And thirdly, is get out and see people. Don't be embarrassed about how you talk and what you got to do. In email, you'll make mistakes, but get out and practice. Get out and talk. Get out and do things. I was so scared to talk about getting out, or it wasn't my normal self. And I just put that in my pocket and decided, hey, I'm going to take it. I'm going to try it. And so get out and see people, and I wasn't embarrassed about it.
So when you talk about practice, the things that you see on the table are things that we use as resources to help us communicate each week. We use calendars and maps, picture dictionary, letters, numbers, and they help us practice with the reading, writing, and speaking to get our communication across. So Jeff, what do people need to know to be helpful and supportive?
Aphasia is not to be confused with dementia or Alzheimer's, and those people who have aphasia, you can help by speaking slowly, especially when reciting numbers.
And not only words can be difficult for people with aphasia, but numbers.
Yeah.
Bob,
Okay.
what do people need to know in order to be helpful and supportive for you?
People would be patient for me. It takes a while for anything to do for me, or their patience for me.
So patience is key.
That's right. And they would always say if I'm truly reading, I have bad, but people would say that I'm very, I can't see.
So
Something that say that I'm improving.
improving.
Yeah, that's right.
So people need to give you positive feedback
That's right.
and let you know
That's right.
when you're improving.
That's right. That's good.
We all need positive feedback, right?
Yeah.
And Dick, what do people need to know in order to be helpful and supportive?
Well, I think they need to slow down. They have to take time to talk and to talk slowly about themselves. I got in a conversation the other day, and they were repeating everything to me with a bunch of questions on what am I saying, and I find out that I had to say, could you put that down in writing and send it to me? And I immediately, when I saw it was simple. But when they were talking about it wasn't simple about it at all. So that's one thing. And another thing is talk to your family, your loved ones. Tell them what you want and what you expect of them. Because you get a lot of things, a lot of ways.
Lynn, what do people need to know in order to be helpful and supportive for you?
People need to know, number one, that I'm still the same as I was before, that I'm allowing people to talk to me and listen to me at the same way. And if they listen to me, they can hear what I have to say. And if it's quiet, I can say it. If it's loud, I can't say it.
Get distracted?
Yeah, it's distracted when someone else starts and I can't finish it. Because whatever's out here goes right in here, and I wait.
So keep the background noise down,
Yes.
right? Avoid distractions
Yes.
by background noise, right? And Jeff, would people need to be helpful and supportive? We talked about that already, okay? So who has been most helpful to you with your aphasia?
Well, my wife, Terry, has been helpful and is extremely supportive.
And Dick, who has been most helpful to you with your aphasia?
Well, my peers have been, those people have been with in setting like this or setting other setting. They understand when you miss, when your conversation goes bad, and when you make things go. Then my two sons, the families, Chris and John, they plus from my church that are very supportive. They pick me up and say things that they like about my speeches, and this I appreciate 5 times.
And Bob?
Okay. My wife, Julie, is really a lot for me. We've been married for 54 years, and this is almost what I need.
She knows exactly what you need, right?
And sweet, our place, really great.
Your friends are great.
Yeah. I know that I'm not the same. I know that I am not the same, but I just talk like this.
So your friends understand. They'll learn what aphasia is. Anything else? Okay. And then Who has been most helpful to you with aphasia?
George has been more helpful.
So your husband?
Yes, he has been taking me everywhere. He's been listening to me. He's no longer giving me the support that's in place. Instead, he's making me come up with it myself. He'll use a letter or something, or he'll let it go till I get it. And I've learned to expect more now that I've given it.
Anyone else who's been helpful?
You guys have.
So the group has been very helpful.
Yes, yes,
So all our peers,
yes,
speech therapists, physical therapists, occupational therapists.
yes,
So many people are very helpful and supportive.
right.
So as you can see, support is very important to help in the road to recovery for every individual with aphasia. So the mission of these groups and MnCAN is to improve quality of life for individuals living with aphasia by supporting increased communication skills, participation in their communities, achievement of personal and communication goals. If you or someone you know has aphasia and would like to be a part of these weekly conversation groups, you may contact MnCAN at the address, phone number, and or website that is provided. I would also like to take this opportunity to thank Burnsville Community Television for allowing this Burnsville Aphasia Conversation Group to inform the public about aphasia and to discuss real-life experiences of living with aphasia. Hello, my name is Sarah Helm. I work as a speech-language pathologist for Minnesota Connect Aphasia Now, or known as MnCAN. I facilitate 3 to 8 aphasia conversation groups in the Twin Cities. The group of people who are seen with me today all have aphasia and participate in one of the Burnsville aphasia conversation groups. So, what is aphasia? Aphasia is a language disorder most commonly caused by strokes, but can also be caused by brain tumor, head injury, infection, neurologic condition, and a condition known as primary progressive aphasia. People with aphasia may have difficulty speaking and using words, understanding others' words, reading, writing, using, and understanding numbers. Aphasia is often misunderstood to be an intellectual disorder, which it is not. Aphasia affects an estimated 1 million people in the United States, and more than 200,000 acquire each year. Again, this table is surrounded by a group of people with aphasia that attend a weekly aphasia conversation group. At these groups, individuals are provided weekly opportunities to practice communication skills in a small, supportive environment. We are here today to inform you of what it is like to live with aphasia. We will share personal information that will help you to be more aware of this disorder. This group is facilitated on a weekly basis, much like you see in the informational program. Dick, can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Sure. I'm Richard Mark. Most commonly, everybody calls me Dick. And in my career, I was a clergyman. And a stroke happened to me about 2 years ago. I was 73 at the time, and it's been 2 years of a hard journey for me to begin to operate.
And Lynn, can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
My name is Loomis Jericho. I was employed by Frontier Communications and graduated from law school. I had cancer at 3 years. Cancer at 60 years and had that for about 3 years. I had myself surgery. I had myself with surgery, and that took 36 hours, and I had to take time out. And when I took time out, then I had surgery.
Following your surgery you had?
Following my surgery, I had a stroke, and that's where my aphasia started.
Jeff, can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Hi, my name is Jeff. My career was the operation manager of a wholesale distributor. At 56, I had a stroke. That was 2.5 years ago. I was diagnosed with aphasia. I was diagnosed with aphasia.
You got it.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
All right, Bob, tell us about you.
Okay, Bob Olson. I was a dentist for 40 years. I have a stroke for 76 years. Stroke for 2014.
So you were 76 years old and you had your stroke. And that was 1 year ago?
5 years ago. Or 4.
1 year ago.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so Lynn, what is it like to communicate after acquiring aphasia?
It's very difficult to communicate, to speak. I can know what I'm saying, and it's in my voice and in my head what I'm saying, but the person on the other hand can't understand it. And when they do understand it, when they understand it, we understand it, and we understand listen to them by having them listen to us. As long as they listen to us or keep quiet or on the board, we can do what we have to do.
And Dick, what is it like for you to communicate after acquiring aphasia?
Well, I thought when I started, after my stroke, I had to stutter. And then I'm a little bit like Lynn. I could think things through and could put my thoughts together, but I couldn't say them. And it was hard on me, for I was a person that liked to do things fast and get them done, and could start out being slow.
Mm-hmm. Bob?
Okay.
What is it like for you to communicate?
TV and reading are okay, but conversations are hard. If it's okay for fast or slow, I can understand them. But I can't. I want to do something, but I can't say anything to it.
So it's hard to get the words out. You know what people are saying.
But I can't do anything about it.
It's hard for you to get your words out.
Right.
Yeah? Mm-hmm. Jeff, can you tell us what it's like to communicate the aphasia?
Is confusing. Aphasia is like having a disconnect between parts of your brain. It takes a lot of effort to talk, spell, write, and read, and do math.
Mm-hmm. So, Bob, what problems do you encounter with aphasia?
I'm certainly the same person, but they don't know that I have a stroke. They don't know that I have a stroke. But when I have people that have, if people have a long time for me, I don't know what it is for them. Mm-hmm. I can't treat it, and that is the end of the conversation.
Right. So you're still the same person, just can't get the word out, and then that's the end of your conversation.
That's it. Okay.
Mm-hmm. And how about you? What problems do you encounter with aphasia?
I follow the same things that he does. My brain is the same as it was before. I had the same brain that I could talk and think of before. The only thing is I can't get the brain to come
Your
out.
mouth.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. So you can't get the words out.
Yes.
That is exactly what aphasia is. Rick, what problems do you encounter?
Well, I was when I had a stroke, I cried a lot, and that wasn't true to me. That wasn't. I cried a lot because I had one thing that after another go wrong, and it took me about a year to get over that crying. And the second year, I was upset. I was upset from the start of my stroke to the time when my kids would do things, and I would be upset, and I would want to come out and knock their head off. But I decided I better sit down on my upsetness and wait and see what they would do. And eventually, they kind of forgot about me, and so they forgot that I was upset. And then, thirdly, in my emotions, I'd forget things. I would start out to the kitchen, what was in the kitchen. I'd get up there and I'd forget about what I was going to do. or I'd go in the bathroom and forget about what I was supposed to do. So I'd have to back up and start up again, and then remember what I was doing. So.
And Jeff, did you tell us what problems you encountered with your aphasia?
Yeah. While your memory is intact, you see everyone going about their daily routine, and they treat you differently. It can get lonely.
So Bob, tell us, what is helpful in your continued road to recovery?
One factor is good, but at this we have a lot of stuff that we do every year or every week. We have 4 or 5 times for saying what we want. It's nice for all of us to have on a free tonight. I guess we have something that that I have, a company that I have, and that's what's nice for you. I have a lot of hearing sessions for 4 weeks. That's nice too.
So you keep active,
That's it.
you go to therapy, you get practice talking, you go swimming, keep active.
That's right.
So keep going.
That's right.
You're saying keep going,
That's
keep active.
That's right.
That's what's helpful for your
Really
continued road
is.
to recovery.
Thank you.
Jeff,
Yeah.
what is helpful in your continued road to recovery?
Time. You have to allow time enough for the brain damaged tissue to get rewired. It's unknown how long it's going to take. Every stroke is different, but there is no cure for aphasia.
So you have to keep working at it every day
Yeah.
by reading, writing, speaking, right? Keep
Yeah.
at it, right? So Lynn, what is helpful in your continued road to recovery?
I continue to read every day. And when I don't read, I read about what I talk about, and I try to get across everything I've done so I can go back in my frame and get hold of it. I use the telephone, not telephone, it's a computer, and use the computer that has computer games on it, and it keeps me going.
So like brain games?
I like brain games, it's called Velocity. And I keep going over that and over that. If I do it every year, every day I can write a brain game.
So you practice reading every day, and you're always talking.
Yes.
And you also practice writing every day.
Yes, I do.
Along with computer and brain games, right? And that is very helpful.
Yes, it is.
And Dick, what is helpful for you in your continued
Well, practice. 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 It's always helpful to try all the time and try to get things on. Same thing is I write things down. I scribble in the notes and take notes and write things down. I get a calendar that I have to talk about so that I get it all down. And everybody calls me up and says, "Can you do this on a Thursday afternoon?" I said, "Just a minute, I can't remember what I've done on Thursday afternoon." Now check my calendar and see that I got all what I've got to do that day. And thirdly, is get out and see people. Don't be embarrassed about how you talk and what you got to do. And even though you'll make mistakes, get up and practice. Get out and talk. Get out and do things. I was so scared to talk about getting out for what's my normal self. And I just put that in my pocket and decided, hey, I'm going to take it. I'm going to try it. And so get out and see people, and I wasn't embarrassed about it.
So when you talk about practice, the things that you see on the table are things that we use, such as resources, to help us communicate each week. We use calendars and maps, picture dictionary, letters, numbers, and they help us practice with our reading, writing, and speaking to get our communication across. Yeah. So Jeff, what do people need to know and to be helpful and supportive?
aphasia is not to be confused with dementia or Alzheimer's, and those people who have aphasia you can help by speaking slowly, especially when reciting numbers.
And not only words can be difficult for people with aphasia, but numbers.
Yeah.
Bob,
Okay.
what do people need to know in order to be helpful and supportive for you?
People would be patients for me. It takes a while for anything to do for me, or their patients for me.
So patience is key.
And right, and they would always say if I'm feeling bad, people would say that I'm very, can't see.
So
Something that say that I'm improving.
improving.
Yeah, that's right.
So people need to give you positive feedback
right.
and let you know
That's right.
you're improving.
That's right. That's good.
We all need positive feedback, right?
Yeah.
And Dick, what do people need to know in order to be helpful and supportive?
Well, I think they need to slow down. They have to take time to talk and talk slowly about themselves. I got a conversation the other day, and they were repeating everything to me with a bunch of questions on what I'm saying, and I found out that I had to say, could you put that down in writing and send it to me? And immediately when I saw it was simple. But when they were talking about it, they wasn't simple about it at all. So that's one thing. And another thing is talk to your family, your loved ones. Tell them what you want and what you expect of them, because you get a lot of things, a lot of ways.
Mm-hmm. Lynn, what do people need to know in order to be helpful and supportive for you?
People need to know, number one, that I'm still the same as I was before, that I'm allowing people to talk to me and listen to me at the same way. And if they listen to me, they can hear what I have to say. And if it's quiet, I can say it. If it's loud, I can't say it. I get
distracted?
yes, distracted when someone else starts and I can't finish it, because whatever's out here goes right in here, and I wait.
So keep the background noise down,
Yes.
right? Avoid distractions
Yes.
by background noise, right? And Jeff, what do people need to be helpful and supportive? We talked about that already, okay? So who has been most helpful to you with your aphasia?
Well, my wife, Terry, has been been helpful and is extremely supportive.
Mm-hmm. And Dick, who has been most helpful to you with your aphasia?
Well, my peers have been those people I've been with in the setting like this or setting. They understand when you miss, when your conversation goes bad, and when you make things go. Then my two sons, their families, Chris and John, is they plus the program my church are very supportive. They pick me up and say things that they like about my speeches, and this I appreciate 5 times.
And Bob.
Okay. My wife, Julie, is really a lot for me. We've been married for 54 years, and this is almost what I need.
You know exactly what you need, right?
And it's really, our friends are really great.
Your friends are great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know that I'm not the same. I know that I am not safe, but just talk like it.
So your friends understand. They're learning what aphasia is. Anything else?
No.
Okay. And Lynn, who has been most helpful to you with aphasia?
George has been more simple.
So your husband?
Yes, he has been taking me everywhere. He's been listening to me. He's no longer giving me the support that's in place. Instead, he's making me come up with it myself. He'll use a letter or something, or he'll let it go till I get it. And I learned to expect more now that I've given it.
Anyone else has been helpful?
Well, you guys have.
So the group has been very helpful.
Yes, yes.
So all of our peers,
Yes.
speech therapists, physical therapists, occupational therapists.
Yes,
So many people are very helpful and supportive.
right.
So as you can see, support is very important to help in the road to recovery for every individual with aphasia. So the mission of these groups and MnCAN is to improve the quality of life for individuals living with aphasia by supporting increased communication skills, participation in their communities, achievement of personal and communication goals. If you or someone you know has aphasia and would like to be a part of these weekly conversation groups, you may contact MnCAN at the address, phone number, and or website that is provided. I would also like to take this opportunity to thank Burnsville Community Television for allowing this Burnsville Aphasia Conversation Group to inform the public about aphasia and to discuss real-life experiences of living with aphasia. Hello, my name is Sarah Helm. I work as a speech language pathologist for Minnesota Connect Aphasia Now, or known as MnCAN. I facilitate 3 to 8 aphasia conversation groups in the Twin Cities. The group of people who are sitting with me today all have aphasia and participate in one of the Burnsville aphasia conversation groups. So, what is aphasia? Aphasia is a language disorder most commonly caused by strokes, but can also be caused by brain tumor, head injury, infection, neurologic condition, and a condition known as primary progressive aphasia. People with aphasia may have difficulty speaking and using words, understanding others' words, reading, writing, using, and understanding numbers. Aphasia is often misunderstood to be an intellectual disorder, which it is not. Aphasia affects an estimated 1 million people in the United States, and more than 200,000 acquire it each year. Again, this table is surrounded by a group of people with aphasia that attend a weekly aphasia conversation group. At these groups, individuals are provided weekly opportunities to practice communication skills in a small, supportive environment. We are here today to inform you of what it is like to live with aphasia. We will share personal information that will help you to be more aware of this disorder. This group is facilitated on a weekly basis, much like you will see in the informational program. Dick, can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Sure. I'm Richard Mark. Most commonly, everybody calls me Dick. And in my career, I was a clergyman. And a stroke happened to me about 2 years ago. I was 73 at the time, and it's been 2 years of a hard journey for me to begin to operate.
And Lynn, can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
My name is Loomis Jericho. I was employed by Frontier Communications and graduated from law school. I had cancer at 3 years. At cancer at 66 years and had that throughout 3 years. I had myself
Surgery?
I had myself with surgery, and that took 36 hours, and I had to take time out. And when I took time out, then I had
Following your surgery, you had?
following my surgery, I had a stroke, and that's where my aphasia started.
Jeff, can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Hi, my name is Jeff. My career was the operation manager of a wholesale distributor. At 56, I had a stroke. That was 2.5 years ago. I was diagnosed with aphasia. I was diagnosed with aphasia.
You got it.
Yeah.
All right, Bob, tell us about you.
Okay, Bob Olson. I was a dentist for 40 years. I have a stroke for 36 years. Stroke for 2014.
So you were 76 years old when you had your stroke, and that was 1 year ago?
5 years or 4.
1 year ago. Okay. Okay, so Lynn, what is it like to communicate after acquiring aphasia?
It's very difficult to to speak. I can know what I'm saying, and it's in my voice and in my head what I'm saying, but the person on the other hand can't understand it. And when they do understand it, they do it. No, when they understand it, we understand it, and we understand listening to them by having them listen to us. As long as they listen to us or keep quiet around the boards, we can do what we have to do.
Dick, what is it like for you to communicate after acquiring aphasia?
Well, I thought when I started after my stroke, I had to stutter. But and then I'm a little bit like Lynn. I could think things through and could put my thoughts together, but I couldn't say them. And it was hard on me, for I was a person elected to do things fast and get them done, and I had to start out being slow.
Mm-hmm. Bob,
Okay.
what is it like for you to communicate?
TV and reading or radio are okay. Conversations are hard. If it's okay for people who are fast or slow, I can understand them. But I want to do something, but I can't say anything to it.
So it's hard to get the words out. You know
yeah.
what people are saying.
But I can't do anything about it.
It's hard for you to get your words out.
Right.
Yeah? Mm-hmm. Jeff, can you tell us what it's like to communicate with aphasia?
Is confusing. Aphasia is like having a disconnect between parts of your brain. It takes a lot of effort to talk, spell, write, and read, and do math.
Mm-hmm. So, Bob, what problems do you encounter with aphasia?
I'm still the same person, but I don't know that I have a stroke. People don't know that. They don't know that I have a stroke. When I have people that have, if people have a long time for me, I don't know what to take for them. Mm-hmm. I can't trade it, and that's the end of the conversation.
Right. So you're still the same person, just can't get words out, and that's the end of your conversation.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Lynn, how about you? What problems do you encounter with aphasia?
I follow the same thing that he does. My brain is the same as it was before. I had the same brain that I could talk and think before. The only thing is I can't get brain to come out. Yes.
Mm-hmm. So you can't get the words out.
Yes.
That is exactly what aphasia is. Dick, what problems do you encounter?
Well, I was when I got a stroke, I cried a lot, and that wasn't true to me. That wasn't. I cried a lot because I had one thing that after another go there wrong, and it took me about a year to get over that crying. And the second year I was upset. I was upset from the start of my stroke to the time when my kids would do things, and I would be upset, and I would want to come out and knock their head off. But I decided I better sit down on my upsetness and wait and see what they would do. And eventually, they kind of forgot about me, and so they forgot that I was upset. And then, thirdly, my emotions. I'd forget things. I would start out to the kitchen, what was in the kitchen. I'd get up there and I'd forget about what I was going to do. Or I'd go in the bathroom and forget about what I was supposed to do. So I'd have to back up and start off again. And then remember what I was doing.
Mm-hmm.
So.
And Jeff, did you tell us what problems you encountered with your aphasia?
Yeah.
Okay.
While your memory is intact, you see everyone going about their daily routine, and they treat you differently. It can get lonely.
Mm-hmm. So Bob, tell us, what is helpful in your continued road to recovery?
One therapy is good, but at this group we have a lot of stuff that we do every year or every week. We have 4 or 5 times for saying what they want, and it's nice for all of us to want to be tonight. I get that we have something that a need that I have, a company that I have, and that or it's nice for you. And a lot of filming sessions for 4 days a week. That's nice too.
So you keep active,
That's right.
go to therapy, get practice talking, you go swimming, keep active.
That's right.
Mm-hmm. So keep going.
That's right.
You're saying keep going,
That's
keep
right.
active.
That's right.
And that's what's helpful for your continued road to recovery.
Thank you.
Jeff,
Yeah.
what is helpful in your continued road to recovery?
Time. You have to allow time enough for the brain damaged tissue to get rewired. It's unknown how long it's going to take. Every stroke is different, but there is no cure for aphasia.
So you have to keep working at it every day by reading, writing, speaking, right? Keep at it, right? So Lynn, what is helpful in your continued road to recovery?
I continue to read it every day. And when I don't read, I read about what I talk about, and I try to get across everything I've done so I can go back in my frame and get hold of it. I use the telephone, not telephone, that's a computer, and use the computer that has computer games on it, and it keeps me going.
So like brain games?
Brain games is called Lumosity.
Mm-hmm.
And I keep going over that and over that. If I do it every year, every day I can write a brain games.
So you practice reading every day, and you're always talking.
Yes.
And you also practice writing every day.
Yes, I do.
Along with your computer and brain games, right? And that is very helpful.
Yes, it is.
And Dick, what is helpful for you in your continued road?
Well, practice.